Sorry, James.
Thank you.
It's a true pleasure to be here. Let's get the show on the road. In the last 126,000 years, humankind has developed and grown at an exponential rate. From the utilisation of agriculture and the creation of settlements over 10,000 years ago, to the luxuries of being able to walk land, oceans and atmosphere to our liking, humankind has undoubtedly proved itself as the dominators of Earth. However, this has not come without a toll for the rest of the Earth. In those last 126,000 years of human development, an estimated of 96% of all extinctions have come at the hands of man. Around 30,000 species are driven to extinction every year as a result of poaching. Three species per hour. Yet, still, in this modern world, with modern science and technology, we still come to our old ways of hunting, killing, and extorting wildlife for the precious resources they contain.
It is estimated that as much as 70% of ivory is imported to China, where carved ivory items are popular and considered a symbol of status. From 2010 to 2012, the estimated poached ivory value on the black market is estimated to be $597 million. However, China is not the only consumer of ivory. The United States, Thailand, Japan, the Philippines also support large markets.
This demand for ivory is driven by a number of reasons. It carries cultural significance. Ivory is seen as a status symbol and is also used to flaunt wealth, with ivory being called the white gold. This is due to the lucrative price of ivory, as the outlawing of poaching has only increased the price of ivory goods. This results in the crime syndicates only receiving high profits for their goods, who buy ivory in places such as Kenya for about $3 a kilo and sell it for more than $1,100 a kilo.
The International Conservation Caucus Foundation states that the extreme poverty of many African communities induces their complicity in African-based, Asian-run poaching networks. Due to a lack of conservation resources, a boom in bushmeat trade and their desire to increase socioeconomic status, poaching rates have remained high. Many poachers are not among the absolute poorest, but do it to supplement their income.
They need the funds they receive from bushmeat, ivory and rhino horn trade for basic needs. In order to better their life, poachers risk a $200,000 fine or life imprisonment for a tiny fraction of the illegal market value of ivory. The illegal gangs who have profited since the prohibition of ivory trade may earn up to 100 times the earlier price of ivory. In a 2015 study in Tanzania, 96% of villagers said they would stop poaching if they received enough income from other means.
Many countries that are home to elephants, rhinos and other valuable wildlife are desperately poor. The GDP per capita in the Democratic Republic of Congo is just $430. A single pound of ivory can fetch up to $1,100 on the black market, more than 3 times the typical DRC annual income. The tusks of a single elephant can weigh up to 250 pounds, meaning the killing of just one elephant can mean a life-changing windfall for a family. However, the income from killing of wildlife can also drastically hinder the local tourism. As of right now, poaching costs African economies about $25 million a year of lost local tourism.
Another key issue that has contributed to the desensitization of poaching within Africa specifically is this overall lack of education that has been provided to younger generations moving through society. The lack of education regarding the diverse impacts and results of poaching on the natural environment and ecosystem in Africa has resulted in impoverished villages and communities such as out west of Kruger in South Africa, housing 2.5 million people, trying to support their families through these acts. They believe it is a necessary activity to provide the funds to make ends meet, and without these crucial education systems, no second thought to the harms are given. This repetitive cycle, where generations growing up witness regular poaching, has devastated these communities and have helped poaching efforts remain prevalent throughout this society.
The introduction of educational initiatives have now been placed within these rural communities by non-government, non-for-profit and local organisations. These initiatives, including Green Kids, aim to create new foundations for the appreciation of wildlife and a contribution to the natural ecosystem. This in turn hopes to break the cycle of poaching that still occurs within these communities today, thus resulting in a decrease of overall poaching.
The enforcement of poaching laws and the overall protection of these species being poached is a crucial component and mechanism in preventing it from occurring. Over the past couple of decades, the demand for animal, plant, and wildlife products has dramatically increased, especially in areas such as East Asia, as well as their communities around the world. The recent surge in affluence of Asian countries has resulted in an increase in Asian consumers from an already prevalent Asian market. The increase in consumers having the means to illegally purchase wildlife products from endangered species has resulted in a high demand for these wildlife products.
With increased funds associated with poaching, an extensive network of corruption in park rangers and customs officials in countries with these highly demanded wildlife has formed. This combined with the complicity of local communities influenced by the scale of the illegal trade in which wildlife contraband hides and the growing presence of poachers has resulted in the decline of enforcement of poaching. Increased violence levels have also resulted in a number of deaths within the anti-poaching rangers unit.
While the practice of international ivory trade was banned in 1989, it is constantly undermined by countries continuing to allow the domestic sale of ivory, driving up demand. In fact, it was only in 2018 that the British government decided to make the domestic sale of ivory goods illegal. The continued international demand for ivory has put increasing pressure on the ever-thin and severely under-resourced national park rangers in war-ravaged countries, such as the Democratic Republic of Congo.
In the end, the main limiting factor for those who are willing to end this trade of ivory is funds. In countries currently facing civil war, little government funding is given, and that funding does not go far in protecting national parks up to 5,000 kilometres squared in size. Agencies need more support and jurisdiction to disrupt and pacify the ivory kingpins that reside in Singapore, Vietnam and China. Otherwise, these syndicates will continue to find their way into the national parks and exploit the wildlife of its resources.
What we can do right now is to support the international organisations that strive to end this ivory trade, such as the WWF, the Environmental Investigation Agency, or Big Life. These agencies not only focus on the existing threat of poaching, but also the potential one. Initiating programs targeting the poorer, more remote communities with less education and understanding of its harms. Without thorough funding and proper support, these poachers will continue to seep through the cracks of our wildlife, and our wildlife will continue to perish. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a great evening.
Thank you.